All right, guys, we are back. Straight talk with post-grad recruits. Tonight, we have a really special guest on, Coach Lamb. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, Coach. We appreciate you for coming on with us tonight.
But it's about past my bedtime, so yeah, I'm good to be. I'm glad to be here too.
You still got some recruiting to do, Coach.
Oh, I know that phone never stops.
You don't get to sleep right now. You still got recruiting to do.
Amen.
So, Coach, there's a game we like to play, Coach. And this game is just so we can get to know you a little bit, so everybody get to know you. And I know there's probably been times where you wanted to tell people you don't know me like that. So tonight you get to do
All right.
that. So I'm gonna ask Junior some questions, and he's gonna answer those questions. If he gets it right, you're gonna tell him, "Hey, you think you know me?" If he
Okay.
gets it, if he gets it wrong, you don't know me like that. This is your
All right.
time, Coach. This is your time to
Okay.
shine.
You got it.
So, Junior, the first question. You ready?
Yep.
All right. So, Coach Lamb played at what college? Furman, Hawaii, or Georgia Southern?
Hawaii.
You don't know me like that. Not even close.
Uh, where'd you play at, Coach?
Furman University, the Furman Paladins.
Okay. All right. And you spent some time there. You coached there a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm your abnormal college coach. I was there for played there 4 years, was 15 years as an assistant and 9 years as a head coach, all in the same time frame.
Oh
It's a
wow.
long time.
Wow. It is. All right, Junior. I'm gonna need you this one. All right. Coach Lamb beat this SEC school. Bama, UGA, or South Carolina?
South Carolina.
You know me like that. You do know me like that.
Junior, did you guess or do you remember that?
Listen, South Carolina been down for a few years, man. That's the only team that's gonna lose to anybody else other than Bama.
You try to say
That was a long time ago. I was a
Yeah.
freshman in college when that happened.
Oh man. A freshman.
Yep.
Mm.
How about this? We went on to beat in 4 years. We beat South Carolina, excuse me, Georgia Tech next, NC State and NC State. 4 year run.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh, so Furman was putting. They had a good recruiting class then for a couple of years then.
Oh yeah, we had a run there for a while.
Oh man. Okay. All right, Junior. So here we go. Coach Lamb, which Georgia college football program? Georgia Military or Mercer?
Mercer.
Bingo. You know me like that.
So, you got a habit of resurrecting programs, then, huh?
Yeah, we went down there in 2011 and started that program from scratch, just like we're doing here at Anderson University. And it was a long, drawn out process, but it was very rewarding in the end.
Oh man.
Quick question on that. What's some of the steps to turn a program around like that? I mean, I know it has to be difficult.
Well, the steps are like this. From a simplistic standpoint, and is you got to recruit 1 year, you got to practice a year, and then you play the third year. So we're right now in the process of recruiting our first class. You got to sign about 75 to 80 guys in that first class, and you got a practice year, which ends up being their redshirt year, and then they've got 4 years of eligibility. So that's how you build it. You build it slowly. And the negative is you're going to play in your conference with only two recruiting classes. So 23 and 24 are both recruiting classes will come together, and our first game won't be to 2024.
Okay. Do you guys know? Are you able to tell us the release of first game?
We don't know the first game yet. We're still scouting that out, but we're going to be in the South Atlantic Conference, the SAC, and that is some of the better teams there. Lenore Ryan, Wingate, Newberry, Carson Newman over the years, and so it's a really good Division II football conference.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, those are some good teams there. All right, Junior. Coach Lamb got his first head coaching job in 2002, 1998, or 2000.
2000. Hold on, repeat those years again.
2002, 1998, or 2000.
2000.
You don't know me like that. That was close.
Man, you got to listen, man. He just said Furman when he was the head coach at Furman.
2002. Yep. You know who my quarterback was in 2002?
Who was that?
Billy Napier.
Oh, really?
Yes, sirree. Head coach for the Gators was my quarterback.
Oh, man.
In 2002. Yep.
Really? Did you recruit him or was he there?
I went to Louisiana with him for 1 year as an assistant to the head coach. But yeah, I recruited him. I was his recruiting coach. I was the quarterback coach before I became the head coach, and then I was the head coach his senior year. So we spent a lot of time together.
So, Coach, you said you at one point, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How was that like having a player that you coached, you trained him up, you groomed him, and then to turn around and be his assistant?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I used to tell him what to do, and now he's telling me what to do.
Right.
All the coaches would get me to go in there and ask him questions because they're like, "Hey, you're the only one who can really go in there and call him Billy," you know. So I was like the guinea pig. I had to go in there and ask him all kind of questions for them.
Right. You say you tell him, Billy, I know your mama, so don't don't give me that lip. Don't make me call your mom.
On another side note, in 2008, 9, and 10, my wide receiver coach at Furman was a guy named Tony Elliott. Now the head coach at Virginia. Yep.
Wow. So that means you got a good habit.
I just need a cut of what they're making, just a cut, you know.
Right. Oh man, really? That means you have a good guys then.
Yep. So.
All right. Last question. Coach Lamb was named Conference Player of the Year in 1988, 1985, or 1987. Now.
Oh wow.
Yep.
88.
85 or 87.
You don't know me like that. He said 88. You don't know me like that. 1985.
Did you play, Coach?
1985.
1985.
We went to the national championship game and lost 44-42 to Georgia Southern.
Wow.
And a guy named Tracy Ham.
Tracy Ham. What position did you play at the time?
North quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then in 88, I was an assistant coach, and we went back and played we played Georgia Southern again, and we beat Georgia Southern 17-12. So yeah, got them back.
Okay. We're gonna have to do some more research, man.
That's back when Furman, Georgia Southern, and Appalachian dominated the Southern Conference, and we were all in the playoffs every year. Yep.
And Appalachian is still dominating.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt.
The success over there is just ridiculous, man. They've had great success.
They got an unbelievable culture, and I mean, fan base, fan following is crazy.
And that's after.
So that's what you're trying to build there at Anderson.
Yeah, I hope so.
What'd you say, Junior?
I said that's after what they have replaced it like the last 4 or 5 years. They've had like 2 or 3 different coaches, and they constantly. They just keep it going rolling. They just keep winning.
They keep the same system. They have the same offense, same defense, same terminology, no matter who the coach comes in there. It's crazy. It's a crazy system. Yep.
You said no matter who the coach is, they keep the same system.
Well, Scott Satterfield was there for a long time, and then they hired old boy from They got him in Missouri now, Drinkwich, and he came
Okay.
in and kept the offensive coaches, so they just kept the same system pretty much. And then when Drinkwich left, they hired the offensive line coach. He's an Appalachian graduate, so they've been keeping the same system.
No. I mean, let's talk a little bit about you guys. What's been going on over there at Anderson? During these stages, this building stage.
Well, we're in the first phase of the building stage, which is recruiting. Okay, so our first class will be the class of 2023. So what we've been doing is we had some camps in May. We've got a camp this coming Friday. We got 2 camps in July. We have 2 junior days in July. So we're just trying to get as many people on our campus as we can. Right. And in doing that, we're going out and spreading with the Trojans. You can see my Trojan head right here with Anderson Trojans, black and gold. So we're trying to spread the word all over the state of South Carolina. We're going to recruit South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina to start out with, because you have a small staff right now. And then in January, I'll get my full staff, and we'll branch out into the state of Florida. Obviously, it's our next state to get into. And pretty much we'll be a southeastern United States recruiting area. But we got to have players first, and then the second thing is we're building a brand new 40,000 square foot end zone facility. So we've been trying to raise money. That's been the shovel was in the ground about a month ago, so they've been digging and working on that for about a month. So that's exciting as well.
Oh yeah, so that means Anderson University is serious about this thing. They going all in.
Very much so. We're a small private school, but we're the largest private school in South Carolina, and that says a lot. We're larger. We've got more students in Furman. We got more students in Wofford. We got more students in Presbyterian College. And so we're 4,000 students located in a great area. Now, we're 21 miles from Clemson University, the big orange vacuum, as I call it. But we're selling that as a positive, because now you can come to a small private school, play football, but you can also hang out with your buddies and have you can drive right up the road and have a public university of about 30,000 students at Clemson University.
So how is that? Because as I told you when we were off air, I was just at Benedict College, and I realized when I was there, there's so many colleges in South Carolina, North Carolina. That facility is a lot of universities, and how is it recruiting with so many schools, around you guys?
We really step on each other's toes a lot. And I tell you, the state of South Carolina, as small as it is, we have 15 playing football schools in South Carolina, which is crazy. And Georgia doesn't even have that many. So we're lucky to have the state that we have, because the football per capita in our state is really good. But we're right next to the great state of Georgia, and we're not too far away from the state of Florida. So when you got that access next to you, it's good to have.
Okay. Gene, I saw you about to say something.
No, it was just kicking off with the program. What's some of your selling points to kind of get some recruits to come in that actually wants to come in and join that program?
Well, that's a good point. The first selling point is kind of non-football is we're 71% female. We've got a great nursing school there, but we're 71% female, which is obviously a big selling point if you're male. But when you get to the football side of it, the way you approach this thing is, okay, if you're in the class of 223 and you come and you commit and you sign to play at Anderson, guess what? You're the first one in line. There's nobody behind you. Okay. So the next class is going to come in 24. So you got a full year to off the field in the classroom and to be the best player and person that you can be. And you should have a legitimate chance to start for 4 years. So we're trying to get these guys to believe in creating their own legacy, which you'll be the first ever program in Anderson history, and your name will go on a wall or a plaque or something there. They'll always be there, and you'll be the pioneers that came along and got this thing going. So that's a big selling point as far as playing time. And you know how kids are these days; they want to play as soon as they get there.
Exactly. And I mean, that's a big deal to be able to start something, be at the start of something. That's a big deal to me.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And like I said, when they come and they develop and they do the things they're supposed to do, when we recruit the 24 class, you got to look at it this way. The 24 class is going to have about 25 practices, and then we're playing a game. So nobody in 24 should beat anybody out in 23 if we've recruited well.
Right. Right. And how large of a roster, are you, the first year?
Well, the first year we're looking for about 75 guys. We're eventually looking to fill out our roster at 125, and I know there'll be some attrition. So our first year will be 75, and then after that we'll try to get up to 125 as quick as we can.
Okay. All right, and you guys are giving scholarships, athletics as well.
Yes, we're Division II. So the difference is we've got 36 scholarships in Division II. Division I FCS has 63, and of course the big boys have 85. So we can take those 36 and we can call what you call stacking. So you can stack their academic money, you can stack any kind of scholarship they get. So the goal is for them to come to school and not have to pay a dime. So I'm going to take that money and I'm like a general manager. You got to show me what kind of talent you have on tape, and then I've got to rank you. And if you're ranked high and you got good grades, you got a stackable scholarship situation, then we might could get you all the way to a full. So this first year, a third of our players will probably meet that category. Another third will meet some partial scholarship money, and then the other third will probably be true walk-ons, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. How big is the support there, Coach, as far as the community goes, the boosters or?
Oh, it's very big. And Greenville, South Carolina, we're 25 minutes from downtown Greenville, and really Greenville and Anderson are really growing together. Greenville's one of the top 5 growing, biggest cities, largest cities, in the United States as far as growth, and it's just spilling over into Anderson, and Clemson's right up the road. So it's a really good area. We're only 19 miles from the Georgia state line, so we're in the southwest corner of South Carolina, northwest corner of South Carolina. So it's a really good area. We can be into Atlanta at less than 2 hours, into Charlotte less than 2 hours. We can be down to Jacksonville, Florida in 5.5. So really good area to be
in. So I know we talked about this a little bit. So the season 2024, you guys are bringing in guys right now, like in the fall for this coming fall, or the guys going to start coming in?
Not this coming fall. What we'll do we're still in the recruiting phase. So this first class won't sign until next February. Okay. Okay. So this fall, what we're going to do is we're going to go out and actively recruit. We'll go to some high school games, but I'm interested in going to a lot of practices on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You can see really good high school football practices and really recruit that way. Then we'll bring our first class in and sign them in 223 of February, and then August of 223 our first class will come in. So we're still a year away from that.
Okay. And you say you're gonna start practicing in February. You'll start practicing.
No. In August of 23 we'll start practicing. And that'll be our practice year. That'll be our practice year.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That's when it gets really fun.
Oh yeah. That's when it gets really fun.
That's when it gets really fun, because you're gonna have a lot of young guys out there. So and even though I know you guys are looking for young guys to build with. Are you guys thinking of bringing any portal guys in there to help with the locker room?
Right. Well, here's what we're going to do the first year, because you have to come in and practice your first year. And we've talked to some portal guys. They're not going to come in and practice that year because they want to play immediately. So the 23 class won't have a whole lot of that, but definitely the 24 class will be looking to mix that up, because you think about it. If you bring 75 in, the next year they're going to all be redshirt freshmen. You bring your 24 class in, they're going to be freshmen. You have a whole team of freshmen. So you got to break them up with some portal guys. So that'll be something we'll be looking at.
Yeah, that locker room, you're gonna need some guys in there that's mature.
You're gonna need some veteran leadership. You sure are.
Right. Would you go ahead, Junior?
I was about to ask Coach about his staff. Do you have a complete staff right now, or are you still searching for some more coaches?
No, you phase that in as well. So right now I've got an offensive assistant, a defensive assistant. Seth Strickland came from Albany State. And then Malik Chevry came from Erskine, and both of them knew how to recruit the Division II model. That's why I hired them. So me and those two guys are doing all the work right now. And in January, I'll hire 6 more full-time. So I'm going to get 8 full-time. I'll have a strength and conditioning coordinator. I'll have an equipment coordinator. I will have a trainer, and all this will be get hired next year. And then also we'll have 4 GAs. So we're going to have a really good staff at the Division II level. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, 4 GAs. I mean, that alone right there, just that's a lot because usually D2s, might have 1 or 2 and some.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of D2 schools have 180 players, and it's hard to manage. So I when I took the job, I wanted to have 125 because I think we can manage that number and get the folks we want in there.
Right. I mean, you have a lot of experience, so you understand what it means to and what they need in there.
Right.
Yeah, and the strength coach has to be a fired up guy, get back coach.
Yeah, oh no, he's got to wear a lot of hats, Is
he gonna have to pull you back?
The strength coach is always important, but he's even more important when you start a program because he's going to have those guys for 1 year, and it's not going to just be football all the time, but we're going to be lifting weights all the time.
Right. Right. Is he gonna have to pull you off the field, coach? Is he catch your headset?
I haven't met a whole lot of referees that I like, so yeah, it might have to
happen. I hear you on that. So, I mean, it's so much, and we just taking it in. What made you want to start up? Be that guy to come in and start up a program.
Well, I did it at Mercer, and I really enjoyed that. The opportunity came for me to do it at Anderson, South Carolina, which let's face it, it was a family decision. Once I saw what Anderson was doing, definitely was going to go that route. But my in-laws live 37 miles away from where we work, and my parents live 61 miles away from where I work. So my father-in-law just passed, but my mother-in-law is 78 years old. My parents are 82 and 86. And you don't get that chance very often. And so to start a program up basically in my backyard where I'm from is going to be pretty special.
Got you. So, I mean, you, like I said, you had some history, some experience. So, I mean, so I'm assuming that you like to coach the quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, I mean, quarterback or not quarterback, what's a guy, that's been to the league, you might have even coached him already, that's been to the league or going to the league, that you say, man, I would love to coach that guy. Like that guy, I would love to have him and just have been coached him at least once in my career.
Well, a guy that I always enjoy watching play, and some people like him, some people don't, but is Aaron Rodgers. And I know he's a talented guy, but I really like how cool he is under pressure. And I really would have liked to have coached him just so I could see, the type of player he really was, in person. But I'll tell you a cool story. In 2005, we had a quarterback named Ingle Martin. Ingle transferred to us from the Florida Gators when he was beat out by Chris Leak. And Ingle got drafted in the 4th round by the Green Bay Packers. And so he goes to camp, and Brett Favre is the starter. And I called him one day and I said, hey, how good's Brett Favre? He said, Coach, he's good. He said, but this backup quarterback we got, his name's Aaron Rodgers. Said he's unbelievable. And
really?
The rest is history. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's crazy. How stuff like that.
Kids nowadays, they always want to go to that Power 5 straight out of high school, not wanting to take the route. And Aaron Rodgers was one of those guys. He went the JUCO route early on. And
That's
ended up, I think he played for Cal.
Yeah, Cal. Yeah.
His, 2 championships. I believe. Well, he had 1 or 2 Super Bowls, I believe.
Yeah.
And
heck, I was listening the other night to who was it? Patrick Mahomes was talking, and he said he didn't even start until his junior, halfway through his junior year in high school. Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
Crazy. Yeah.
It's a process, man. And some guys develop and bloom a little later than others, and they just take off. We've all heard the stories of those guys who played a year or 2 and then end up in the NFL. So it's a process, and all on how much work you want to put into it.
That's right.
And
is it more of them blooming, or is more of them being patient? Because some players not patient enough to wait
No, they're not. I think it's a little bit of combination of both. They're still developing, but they're also patient. And some of them get on that fast track, thinking they need to start right now, and they go too fast. They don't develop like they should, and then they get behind, and then by that time they got the next quarterback coming in. You got a small window of opportunity. You got to take advantage of that window.
Yeah. Right. I mean, guys have always wanted to. I want to play right now, but I feel like before guys understood I got to wait my time. It's a process. I got to wait. Like I'm better than him. I want to play right now. It is way more to it than that. Are you more knowledgeable than him? Those type of things. So I mean, the game. I've heard the game doesn't change. The terminology does. That's what I've heard.
What does, and when you go to that league, everything's faster, and those windows are a lot tighter. You got to throw a ball in.
Right. So, Coach, if you don't mind, a little segment that we recently added because guys don't understand the process, and so we want to show you 2 films, and just do a little quick 30 seconds. And just do it. We all gonna speak on it, Okay. Just say, hey, our thoughts on it. You okay with doing that?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna real quick and
I get my glasses on for this.
Trent Johnson. Can you see it? You guys able to see?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got the commercial on right now. We have to always watch that commercial.
Get to this ad. All right, we got Trent Johnson here. Already a plus.
Oh yeah.
Productive.
So we're just gonna do about 30 seconds of this.
Okay.
Last clip.
I can already see he's versatile.
I'll show this last one.
All right.
Stop it. So, I mean, Coach, so we watched about 30 seconds of it. That's usually about the time it takes, to figure this thing out. What would you say? What do you think about that?
I think he's a really good player. Number one, I love the production. I look at their stats now. When I'm recruiting, I look at their stats. I want to know how many balls that guy caught, how many times he carried the ball, how many yards he had. I like productive guys. Just the one fact that I saw him return that kickoff tells me that he can play a lot of different spots for you. The running back spot, obviously, get good hands out of the backfield, explosive, can run. Looks like the complete player.
Right, Junior, what you think, man?
Hey, I agree with everything Coach said, but you already know where I'm going. I'm a lineman, and you have to be able to block. You pick up a linebacker, because this is a passing league now.
Yeah, you don't really get to evaluate that much in high school, and that's one of the negatives of those guys blocking.
Right. I mean, so that was a running back, Coach. So typically, what are you looking for when you're looking at running backs and you're recruiting a running back?
Well, number one, I'm looking for when the running style. I like to see running backs get back behind their pads and certainly run through people. Obviously, you want a guy with good hips and shiftiness that he can make people miss in the open field. You want a guy that can catch because your running backs is you're going to eventually have to throw the ball to the running back because they're going to cover those 4 verticals downfield, and you got to check the ball down. So you got to get a really good running back that can catch the ball, and then you want somebody that is knowledgeable because right now we're in the world of the inside zone, outside zone game. So basically, that running back has got to be able to see the blocking patterns up front, learn what's going on, and he's got to stick his foot in the ground and make one cut. If he makes 2 cuts, he's dead. It's a one-cut game nowadays, and then get as vertical as you can. And I think that's why you see so many NFL, they're rotating 2 backs a lot because the toll of playing that position. Because at the end of the day, he's got the ball and everybody's trying to kill the man with the ball. Bottom line.
That's the truth. Yeah. That's the truth. I mean, and that, Coach, that's a post-grad guy, Mississippi Prep. We're gonna do one more. This is a receiver guy, and we're just gonna take a look. Coach, be honest with it. Tell us what you think.
The other thing I would say about running back is I like it when a guy plays linebacker and running back, or safety and running back. I love guys that play both ways. I love that.
Okay. Why is that?
Because it just shows you his competitiveness on both sides of the ball. And then for instance, if you sign 3 running backs and you sign 3 safeties and this running back's not quite as good as you thought, and you can flip him to safety. He can play on the opposite side of the ball. So it gives you more versatility.
Got you.
Plus, he could probably be a good special teams player.
Got you.
I go back to Jameson what's his name? Jameson Williams in the national championship game or in the both the championship games. He's the gunner on punt team, making plays down the field for Alabama before he got hurt.
All right, so we're gonna look at this receiver. So Huddle trying to pay their bills.
I like that, catching in traffic.
That's something that a lot of guys don't like to do.
Yep.
All right, so there you go, Junior. Some blocking.
There you go. There we
go. so what we have to say about that one? 30 seconds, Coach.
Number one, I like the size at 6'2". The best thing I saw him to catch the ball with his hands. A lot of receivers want to catch the ball with their body and ensure they make the catch. He looks like he's got a lot of confidence. He can catch the ball with his hands, and he went into traffic to catch the ball with his hands, which is really good. So looked like a really good route runner. You can tell a little bit about receivers if you watch the whole game about their physicalness. Most of them are not very physical. Most of them are trying to catch the ball and not get hit. Okay, they like that out route where they catch and get out of bounds. But as you saw there, he caught the ball in traffic and of course made a block at the end. So I really like his aggressiveness.
Right. So I mean, first impression is everything. First 30 seconds, you had to look at them. You had evaluation, and that's what guys are understanding. When they create these 6-7 minute highlights. You saw everything and broke things down enough to know if you wanted to keep looking at them or not, just from those couple of clips.
You're right. I talked to some kids the other day about there's a method to the madness, and number one, you're a CEO of your own self, and at the end of the day, when you're putting together a highlight tape, you need to put the wow factor needs to be the first 3 or 4 plays. That needs to be the wow factor. I don't care if it's the last game or it's the first game. Whatever you feel like is the wow play in your career, you need to put it down there. And then the other thing that drives me nuts in recruiting is these kids got to understand they have got to find a simple way for us to find them on Twitter. These crazy Twitter handles they got. Just use your name, please.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious. You ask any coach that, and that's the first thing they'll say.
Yeah.
Junior, I didn't ask you, Junior. What did you think about the last receiver, Junior?
hey, like Coach said, man, him catching the ball down the middle, using his hands, and he shows that he's not selfish. Like you said, he's blocking downfield, and like hey, the game now is about being able to catch down the middle. It's also about blocking for these tunnel screens, running these quick screens out there, and I mean receivers got to be able to do all that.
Right. Blocking is something that a lot of kids don't put much up on the highlight, but like you said, the wow factor what you want to see. But later on, show a wild block.
Yeah.
A block is like okay. I like that he's physical. Just to show
absolutely.
that physicality.
Yeah.
So I mean, I appreciate you for doing that, coach. It's just something that we try to do now. To try to show these kids, hey, it doesn't take long. And
Right.
some of the stuff you said, somebody has told him those same things,
Right.
and they don't listen. But I appreciate that. So I mean, go ahead, June.
And one thing you mentioned is about their Twitter pages or social media. As your class comes in, as your recruits come in, what's going to be your take on how the type of conversation that you have with them about being on social media and having a positive impact that has a positive or a negative impact on the program?
Well, we all know social media, the dangers of social media, and one click could ruin your entire career.
One click.
The thing that we tell our kids, we're going to let you have social media. We're going to let you be a person, be a college student. But at the end of the day, we're going to monitor these things as well. And then what we do is we call them in. My coaches will call them in, talk to them, and if it gets to a different level, they'll call me in the situation. But at the end of the day, we want to use this as a positive. I mean, we're trying to build a program here, and we want to use this as a positive. So we try to get the guys to retweet everything we put out there and pump it up, because at the end of the day, in this day and time, that's how you do it. I mean, now I've been coaching a long time, 35 years. I coached back in the day when the game was over on Monday. We came in as a staff on Monday, and we took a copy machine and we put the newspaper on it, and we printed out the article that we won. We folded it 3 different ways, and we put it in the envelope, and we sent it to our top 30 recruits. Those days are gone, brother. It's just a click of a button.
Right.
So I've seen it both ways, and when we built our program at Mercer, we really used the social media as a platform, and that's what we're doing now at Anderson as well.
Yeah, the game has changed, and me and Junior coached together at Pike County. I remember we had to wait for the game film from the other team. Somebody had to drive. Had to drive and meet them half after the game.
Ain't no doubt.
And some coaches stayed up waiting for the game film to come back. So I mean, it has changed because now you just click the button.
Those stories don't get printed much. They don't get printed much.
Right. So I mean, what typically are you looking for in your student athlete? We watched a little film. You told what class you're looking for, but what are you looking for in your student athletes?
Well, I tell people all the time, we evaluate kids in 4 areas. Number one, we'll evaluate them academically. That's first and foremost. So we can either move forward or we can move backwards academically. So at the end of the day, if they can get in school and they can do the work, that's number one. Number two is an athletic evaluation. We'll use huddle. We'll use camps. We'll use game evaluations to watch them and try to rank them at the best of our ability. That's number two. Number three is we'll use a leadership evaluation. We want to know what kind of leader they are because we want a team full of leaders. So you can really tell that if they're a team captain, or if they're the president of the beta club, if they're the president of this club in their school or whatever. So leadership is very important. And then the last one is probably the most important. We want a character evaluation. Now it's hard to find out what kind of character they have. So what you got to do as a recruiter is, now the head coach is going to tell you all the good things, okay? But you got to find some assistant coaches, find a principal, an assistant principal, a guidance counselor, a teacher. Anybody in that school system will tell you anything about that young man. And the way I look at it is, no matter what level you're at, no matter what kind of scholarship money we're giving you, we're investing money in you to represent our program, represent me, represent Anderson University. So we need to know what we're getting in that situation. And I got that, and I learned that way back when I was an assistant at Furman, and I was the pro scout liaison. and the pro scouts would come in there and they would talk to everybody, you know. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I asked the guy, I said, let me ask you this, why are y'all talking to the trainer and talking to this guy and the academic guy? And they said, hey, we're about to invest millions of dollars in some of these guys, and we better know what we're getting. And so that's kind of the approach we take as well.
Right. I just had a kid, a young kid at an elementary school, ask me that question about, you know, why scouts and stuff and talking to different, and what happens if you get why do they talk to different guys, and what if the guy ends up getting in trouble after they get them? You know, I said, well, I mean, they put on a good face before that. That's right. You know, that's all I can say. They put on a good game face.
Really well. Yep.
So I believe it was a kid, and my wife also asked me that. You know, she was like, well, what if they get a guy that, you know, isn't a good guy, or, you know, that does do bad things? Like, how did he get passed? I mean, he put on a good game face, and the people in his corner,
it happens,
hey,
unfortunately, it happens.
Yeah. So I mean, it happens. Yeah, and she asked me that because, you know, you see all this stuff happening in NFL, things like that, and sometimes they get there and lose their mind, you know. So, they had their mind before then, and then they lost it when they got
their money in their hand, and you lose their mind. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. So, Coach, I mean, so you coached 4 players that you have coached in college. Who is a coach that, you know, and I'm sure you were an influential coach to them, you know, because they hired you, so they had to like you a little bit.
Yeah, well,
they had to like you a little bit. So, who is a coach that, you know, is influential to you that in either your playing or coaching career, you know, that?
Well, 2 of them. My dad was my high school football coach, and he is in the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame. He had a tremendous career, winning 3 state championships and coaching for 35 years. Then he spent 17 more years at the University of Georgia as director of high school relations. So he certainly taught me a lot about the game. He was my coach in high school. And then my college coach was Dick Sheridan at Furman, he went on after we had success at Furman to be the head coach at NC State. And so those 2 guys, I really try to take some of the best things that they gave me and really apply it to how I coach. And so I really have leaned on both those guys. And like I said, both of them are still alive, and both of them I can call at any time.
What high schools was your dad coaching at with those state titles?
Commerce High School, Commerce, Georgia.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Right above,
I went to Newton
about
High
20 miles above Athens. Yep.
Yeah, I know that. We played with those schools.
Oh, Newton. Okay, Georgia. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
I mean, Coach, you know, I'm not even gonna ask this question yet. I have a famous question I like to ask. But before I ask, what words of wisdom do you have for these guys, you know, recruited and, you know, trying to make it to the college level? What can you tell these guys that are listening?
Well, I think a couple of things. Number one, as I stated a while ago, you're running your own business. Okay, you're the CEO of your business, and you've got to put as much information out there as you can. Now, your high school coaches, they're going to help you, but they're going to help you to a certain extent because they got other duties. Okay, but now with social media and the platform you have on social media, I mean, I'm trying to get every highlight I can out there. If I'm a basketball player and I've got 5 dunks on one game, I'm putting 5 dunks on there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm serious. We, as college coaches, we want as much as we can get. Other sports, multi-sports. And that's the other thing. Play multi-sports. I love guys that run track. I love guys that wrestle. I haven't had a bad football player that was a wrestler yet, just because they understand leverage, you understand how to stay low. But you're running your own business. So make sure you do it on a daily basis. You do everything within your power, and you communicate with your high school coach about what's going on in recruiting. Because football is unlike any other sport, because you're dealing as coaches, we're dealing with high school coaches. We're not dealing with AAU basketball coaches or AAU baseball coaches like in the past in the other sports. We're dealing mainly with those high school football coaches because they spend a lot of time with those young men. So do your due diligence and use social media to spread your wealth.
Yeah. And Coach, one more, and also touch on the guys that feels like every guy think they're Power 5 players.
Yeah.
Talk to the ones that really are not Power 5 players, and what
Well, I'll tell you this,
that you can be successful somewhere else.
We all know this. The transfer portal has really put a dent into high school recruiting. I hate that. Absolutely hate it. I think the transfer portal is bad for college football because we're teaching these guys opposite of what we used to teach. We used to teach commitment, stay the course, everything's going to be fine. And now if something goes wrong there, they're out of there. But we're in that era, so we've got to use it. As I say, the transfer portal giveth and the transfer portal taketh away. But so you got to use it on both ends. But like you said, there's a place for everybody to play. Okay. And hey, I grew up wanting to play at Alabama. I was the biggest Alabama fan. Alabama won way back in the 70s and 80s. They won every game they played just about. I want to play, but I wasn't good enough to play at Alabama. So I had to find my niche, which was Furman University, which was a Division I FCS. Okay. So everybody has got to find their niche, and you've got to find where you think you can be a good player, because there's a whole heck of a lot of guys thinking they could play that are standing on the sidelines at some of these big universities, never going to play. And they could be starting and playing football, the game that they love, at a lower university. So you got to find your niche and find your fit, because at the end of the day, you only get 11, 12 opportunities a year to play the great game that we love. And so you got to take advantage of it. And sitting on the sidelines watching, to me, is not a whole lot of fun. I'd rather be playing.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, hey, your career is short-lived. Hey, it can end at any moment. And when it's over, I don't know a guy yet who played. He just played one more snap. I would love to just play one more snap while healthy. You know what I mean? Hey, if you get a chance to play, you need to play.
It's a great.
What it comes down to.
It's a great game. It's the greatest team game ever invented. There are a lot of great sports. I love all sports, but we have the greatest team game ever invented, because, I mean, you got 5 offensive linemen, they never touch the ball. But by golly, they love playing and doing what they're doing in assignment. And it takes, and people really don't understand this, on offense, it takes all 11 doing exactly what they're supposed to do for a play to be successful. Okay.
Right.
If one guy screws up, the play ain't gonna be successful. Right. And people really don't understand that. And so it's a really good football game. It builds a lot of character. It makes you a tougher person, and it makes you a leader. And you got to be, because you'll get left behind if not.
And I mean, not even to add to that, Coach, you get to play one game a week. and if you lose that game, then you have to wait for an entire year to get payback on that team. Right. Unlike basketball, basketball you lose, hey, we'll give them tomorrow.
Baseball, 3 games a week. I mean, football, you got 3 hours on a Saturday to prepare your team to play, and you don't play again until the next Saturday. And that's the nature of the business,
Right. So it hurts. It hurts a lot more when you lose that last minute Hail Mary. That hurts. Yeah. So I mean, it's been good. It's been good talking to you, man. We learned a lot. I know I learned a lot. How about you, Junior?
Man, definitely, man. Because we touched on a lot of things, man. A lot of positive things these younger guys need to hear, and especially in some of these coaches that's planning on coaching and trying to rebuild a program or start a program. And you touched on a lot of big points.
Well, I've been coaching 35 years. I've had a lot of great mentors, worked with a lot of great coaches. And like I said, I've got a coaching tree a mile long, and I got some in the NFL, some in the college ranks, two college head coaches that worked for me, one that worked for me, one that played for me. So it's been a great ride, and I'm not ready for it to end. So that's why I'm starting this program and ready to roll. And this is kind of my last rodeo. So, but I'm excited about where the game's going. I know we got some issues with the transfer portal and NIL and all that, and those are issues, but we still have a great football game, a great game called football that we all love to play and compete in.
Right. So, I mean, 35 years coaching, you've probably never been asked this question I'm about to ask you, Coach. I mean, you've done a lot of interviews. So this is my personality test, Coach.
Okay.
If you were a fruit, what fruit would you be, Coach?
That's a good question. I would probably be an apple. Okay.
An apple.
And you know why? because an apple is, to me, an apple is, and it's kind of funny you said that. I had an apple for lunch today. And we had some really good apples in our cafeteria, and it's bright, shiny. And so I think as an apple, I think it's a bright, shiny, has a personality that's kind of bright and red, obviously, and it gets people's attention. So I think that would be me.
Right.
Yep.
You can't pass up an apple. I mean,
No
you
doubt.
can make apple juice out of it and everything.
As they say,
Apple pie.
As they say, an apple a day will keep the doctor away. So we'll see if it
Right.
works.
Right. I think it was Bluefield State head coach. Coach, he said he would be a Granny Smith apple. He said.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
He said he gonna take it up a notch to be Granny Smith. He said that's the only way to go.
I love that.
But hey, like I said, Coach, we appreciate you getting on, man. It's been a great show. I mean, we have to get you on, and hey, I'll have to send you some players. Come up to a game.
We got to get a pipeline up here to Anderson, South Carolina.
For sure. So that's all for us tonight, folks. We appreciate you for watching.